Welcome back to the PO3 Podcast. My name is Marx.
Just John.
And I'm no longer saying the episode numbers because I just want to pick and choose.
There we go. You can just label it as episode whenever when you load it.
Yep, pretty much. So, but our next one,
caveat,
the one after this will be episode 50. So, I don't know. What do you want to do for that? My mom got me those for Christmas.
It's pretty clean.
Shout out, Mom.
Shout out, Mama Bear.
I don't know. What do you want to do? Episode 50. Kind of a milestone.
We can do something cool. I don't know.
We're going to do nothing, watch.
I'm
With
like
that attitude.
95% sure that's probably going to be the case, but we could try something.
Me too. With Victor Jr., we were supposed to do Halloween episode twice, and we never did it 2 years in a row. So we didn't do anything.
Although I think a Halloween episode would be kind of funny.
I think it would be too. So
I think I got a costume.
what?
Can't tell you.
Tell me.
I can't. I just got to show up. I'm just going to show up that day, bro, and you can't be mad.
I won't be mad.
All right, done.
Matter
of fact, I'm looking at it right now.
I wanted to show.
I think it's like $100 or $200 costume.
Oh my God! Well, now I gotta get a $200 costume.
No, you don't. It's just this is what I want to do because it's gonna be stupid and obnoxious.
So there's a streamer I watch. I want to be the
it.
streamer, but not the guy. I want to be like you know how when you stream on your setup, there's a little window and you can see like your background and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just wanted to make a cardboard box of the window, and then like I'll be the guy sitting
in the window.
so I'm like the stream. You know, that's what I wanted to do.
Oh,
But that'd be kind of hard to pull off. I don't know how I would do that.
You could work on that, but I'm gonna come in my $50 costume. It's $50, not $2.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna order it today.
I've had so many ideas for Halloween. I just don't know.
You just might have some trouble. You have to let the camera because I want to be fit in this thing, so you might have to zoom it out a little bit.
Wait, what the?
Just
You're gonna be a dinosaur, a giraffe,
no,
a skyscraper, an airplane. You're gonna be the sky.
but
You're gonna be a cloud.
be a cloud, bro.
What things are high? Bungee jumping.
You'll see Halloween Day or whenever we record the Halloween.
Was that hot
special.
or cold?
Cold.
Cold. King Kong.
I'm not gonna.
Kong King.
I'm not gonna do this with you. All I'm gonna say is when I show up that day of recording for this Halloween episode, you will see what you will see when you open the front door.
Yo, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this dude doing walking through the parking lot like a dinosaur?"
Why would he be a dinosaur?
Because that's what you're gonna be, right? Okay. You ever seen that? What commercial is it where they say they can't prevent you from turning into your parents? Progressive? No, that's not progressive. You've never seen it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, then it would make no sense to you.
What's it about though? Just give me the commercial.
Nah, it's just a joke. Like it was like we can help you save on your car insurance or something like that, or your home insurance, your life insurance, whatever. But we can't help you from turning into your parents. And there's just a bunch of like dad jokes and stuff.
Oh, that was gonna be that you're confusing that with Step Brothers.
Mm-mm.
Where he's like, I just want to be a dinosaur when I got older. The dad.
Oh, he's all.
Yeah.
He's all. Don't lose your dinosaur. Oh yeah. He's all. Then I realized I was a fucking dinosaur. Get a fucking job, or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, what's up, dude? What's up?
Oh no, his dad was telling him. He's all. He didn't say it in those words. What he said was, "Stop being a fucking dinosaur and get a job."
There you go.
Nothing. I just kind of wanted to talk more about. Well, one, because I didn't really elaborate on like if I was excited to start working because it's been a long time, and then two, superstitions because we were getting into that on the last one, but we didn't really dive into it. Do you think it's like the same, a little, kind of the same as OCD a little bit? I feel like OCD is just a bunch of superstitions, obsessive compulsive disorder. You don't think so? So like when I'm like fixated on a number, and I have to have it on that number, say the volume for the TV, for example. And if it's not on that number, then I'll getting, not something bad will happen, but kind of like anxiety. It's kind of same thing for superstitions, right? Like if you step on a crack, you avoid it because you think something bad's going to happen. I mean, because growing up, dude, like, I don't know how you grew up. Like, I have a traditional Mexican family, I would like to say. And a lot of the stories you hear growing up are pretty superstitious. Like I remember my aunt used to do, or even my grandma, she used to do this thing on me when, like, if you weren't feeling good, I forget what they call it, ojo or something like that. But
egg?
Yeah, with the egg. They take the egg, they lie you down, and then they rub it like up and down your body and stuff, and then they say a prayer, and it's really relaxing. Like I loved it. Like sometimes I just want an ojo because I was, You know, I just wanted to.
That's what. Oh,
I just wanted to relax, bro. So, like, I was like, it was nice, but like, on the times I really wasn't feeling good, my aunt would do it to me, or my grandma would do it to me, and then she would say the prayer, and then she'd go bury the egg, and then you had to get up the next morning, and if the egg is red, that means that it took the evil out of you, or whatever it was, the bad energy. You know what I mean? A lot of
like
times,
the shell.
no, like the actual yolk, she would crack it, and then
And if it was yellow, which I'm sure it was the majority of the time.
I'm saying though, like these superstitions, they don't make sense, but for whatever reason, this is what they grew up learning, and it made
I
sense
still
to
don't see the
them.
correlation to.
OCD.
Yeah.
So OCD is
I feel like OCD is something that you have to do. There's no recourse. There's nothing.
well, stepping on a crack, you would, if you were
Yeah, but
superstitious, you would have to avoid it.
You would have to avoid it in fear of consequence. For my understanding, for OCD, it's just that you
Fear
can't.
of consequence. Yeah.
What's the consequence?
Well, a lot of people, they describe like if they don't do this certain ritual, they're gonna die, or one of their loved ones is gonna get hurt, or this. Fill in the blank.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just I've never heard that.
So that's the typical thinking of
I just
somebody.
felt like it was just they couldn't. It just ate at them until they did it. That's how I understood OCD.
So it's obsessive because it's intrusive thoughts. So that's what it is. So intrusive thoughts are something like you can't get this negative train of thought out of your head. Like, dude, change the channel to 20. It can't be on 19 because if you don't, something's gonna happen.
Oh well, I guess in that case, then yeah.
That's why
it sounds like.
That's why I said it feels like almost borderline superstition. You know, because a lot of people have it differently. It presents the rituals. That's what they call them. It presents themselves in different ways. You know, and I found out I had OCD when I was a kid. I want to say like 9 or 10. I realized that I had it, but I didn't know what it was at the time. You know, and I remember watching David Blaine on ABC or something like that. What happened? I was watching David Blaine on ABC, and he was describing why he would do the things that he did and the crazy things that he would did and how he got to the level that he got to. Somebody was interviewing him. They asked him that question, and he was like, well, when I was little, if there was a branch on a tree that I couldn't reach, I would constantly try and jump and reach for that branch. And in order to make myself keep trying to do that, I would tell myself that if I didn't reach that branch, something was going to happen to my mother or something like that. Like somebody was going to get hurt. So I forced myself to keep trying to reach it.
Would that be considered OCD though, or just a kid trying to be
because
ambitious?
it's obsessive, and you're being compulsive about it and obsessive. Like you can't pull yourself away from it. But I noticed that I had those qualities in myself. You know, when I was younger, I would do certain things like that.
I guess my understanding of OCD was completely different than what it actually is.
But like I said, it presents itself in a lot of different ways. You know.
No, I just never knew there was like the association with like tragedy or bad things to come if you didn't accomplish whatever that was.
So what it is obsessive, but also it's an anxiety disorder. That's what's causing it, is the anxiety of something happening. So it's like kind of like a vicious circle. You know what I mean? You're damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing. So it's just something that you got to work your way out of. And I don't do this shit anymore. Like I pretty much train myself to not perform the stupid things that I was doing anymore, like numbers and colors, or, you know, just certain things that I would do. I don't do them anymore because I realized like this is stupid, you know, and it was consuming a lot of my day, you know, and it was creating unnecessary stresses in my life. So I was like, you know what? Fuck all this. Like I'm done. Like, you know, if I step on a crack, whatever, get a back brace.
Sorry,
you know what I mean? I don't care anymore. Like, who cares? Because, dude, I used to be like, I would drive and like I have a set of numbers that I'm comfortable with. Like, I don't like number 9. I don't like number 5. I don't like number 3. So,
what do you got against prime numbers?
I don't know.
Well, that's not a prime number.
I don't know. For something about even numbers. But, so like if I'm driving, like 16 is my good number, right? So if I'm setting the volume to 16, listening to music, but it's not loud enough, and I know like
32,
it's too loud. That's too loud. That's the thing. So if I go to say 17 is like the sweet spot, I won't go to 17. I just like fuck it. You know what I mean? Just because
you won't go to 18.
That might be too loud. But you notice you find if you're being stupid like that, you know, it's not stupid because people have OCD, but it's just like you get used to it. You just settle. You know, you're like, well, whatever. I'll just leave it right there. Like it's cool. Like I'll get used to it, knowing that 17 sounds perfect. But it's like I'm good. Like I won't put my. I don't
for music engineering.
It actually worked in my benefit because I was so picky and precise about everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, they can just like chop audio and stuff and they don't clean it up or anything like that. And I had to have mine like a certain way. And
no, I know, but I'm talking about the volume.
Oh, it's kind of different because look, there's no numbers on that.
There you go. But it's 16 clicks.
I don't count it. I'm not that. It's just like, but yeah, some people have it like that though. Some people have it like that. Some people like, because they had a documentary on it. You remember True Life?
I've seen it. I don't recall specific episodes. Maybe if you gave me one I may have seen, it would probably jog my memory.
There was this dude that every time he put on deodorant, it had to be like 300 times passes. So he go 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my
5.
God!
But he would do it fast. He go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, two sticks.
And then in between every one of those, he would like take a deep breath. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was crazy, bro. But he had to do it, and they rate it like, all right, how much time do your rituals consume? And they rate it like that based on 1 to 10 scale of like severity. So if it's consuming 2 or more hours of your day, it's considered like mild.
What?
Or something like that. Yeah.
So there's fuck. That
there's people there's people that it consumes. I'm talking like the majority of their day, like just doing rituals and stuff. Like there was this kid that he would wash his hands so they would bleed. He'd literally wash his hands for 3 hours until they were bleeding. And the soap would start burning him and stuff, but that's when he felt clean, and then he can go out and do whatever he wanted to do.
The bloody ass hands infecting the world. Nice.
Because he was like a germaphobe, but it was a form of OCD, you know. So
that's insane.
But I don't know.
I mean, it sucks for him, but that's just crazy.
But I want to talk about superstitions because if you're say you're a kid that already has OCD, but then you grow up in a family that's really superstitious, how does that affect you? Does it make it worse? It has to, right? Because they're putting that anxiety in your head.
But is it? Is like, do you develop new OCD conditions based off of other people's, like...
I'm just saying it can't help your thinking. Like, because you're setting your ways of thinking already, so this is kind of solidifying it. Like, I knew it. If my parents are thinking this way, has to be.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. I feel like if you have an OCD, and we'll use the hand washing dude as an example, if you say, avoid cracks and break your arm's back, I don't think he would pick up on that because his OCD is driven from, well... Whatever.
I did. I believed in the Llorona and all that stuff, like the Cucuy. I thought it was real. You know what I mean? When I was younger.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't say that was the OCD related.
But I have a propensity now to lean towards, like, not conspiracies, but like stuff like that, you know? I know I'm logical. I can be logical about it, but it's just like...
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, I know individuals different, but I'm just having trouble drawing the connections to OCD and then like something that's like folklore, you know, and then making that become, maybe if you have like a personality that's able to, I don't know, like adopt those ideas and make it become very real. I don't know. Like I just feel
like it wouldn't help your thinking. Like
I feel like
superstition is like not factual. It's something that you believe.
Well, no, I know.
So but you're teaching your kid not to be logical, but at a young age when they're a sponge. You know, so if they already,
I mean,
display traits of OCD, it can't be good. It's gotta be.
I'm sure it's not good, but again, for me, I feel like people develop these OCD patterns. It's not like they're continuously developing more. I feel like whatever their thing is, that's their thing.
I beg to differ because the more I would do it, the more I would find things to develop other rituals in other areas. You know. Like there'd be certain things where I would find myself, like not even intentionally. I would just make the connection in my head.
Then again, I don't know much about it, so there's probably a lot of truth to what you're saying. It's just me. From the outside, from my perspective looking in, I just feel like if you have an OCD, that's that, and I don't feel like other people's, stories or pressures are going to influence you to develop a new one. But I don't know anything about OCD, but so it's probably very well the case.
But also it depends on how susceptible you are to believing in that type of thing. You know, how far do you think into it, you know? Because like I said, if you're impressionable, it could probably, it might solidify that for you and make it worse. You know, that's what I think, you know, because like I said, I've found
there's any literature on that type of stuff.
Oh, for sure. Like OCD.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but I mean, I want to look into it a little bit because that's an interesting topic.
Like OCD is something that you wouldn't realize somebody was doing unless you were paying attention to it, you know?
Like, okay, like put my cup down. Oh, no,
see, that's what a lot of people think it is. You know, they think it's just very meticulous, and it is, but it's a lot more than that.
Well, could that be considered OCD and just on the super
Yeah,
mild?
So mild. And I would rate myself a mild, very mild case, but nonetheless it's still there. And I say mild because I only had so many, and I wouldn't display them. Like you would never know I was doing it, And then also it wasn't really taking up time. Time. I don't want to say time though, because it was occupying a lot of space in my head, So that was a stress. So I had to get rid of that. But as far as like physical time, I don't know if time is physical, but it wasn't preventing me from doing other things. I could leave my house and still be on time versus people that have it severely. They can't leave their house until these rituals are complete and done right. Even if they're going to be late for work, they'd be like, no, I got to finish I got to do my deodorant pass 300 times, But it's
just dual wielding deodorant sticks.
Imagine how many he goes through.
Fucking Gillette must love him.
And a lot of the times, and those people, like that's just the first one. Like that's just how he's kicking the day off. Like imagine throughout the rest of the day. So also too, that'd be interesting to scan these people's brains. And I guarantee the people that have OCD, actually there's a section in the book that shows a brain with OCD. It's overactive. It's thinking too much. There's certain brain parts of the brain that are just firing way too hard. So for example, here was the problem with the DSM. So you say you get somebody with an anxiety disorder, but he also has a comorbidity, ADD, but they throw him on a stimulant. So they're stimulating an already overactive brain, making it worse. So if you don't scan the brain, then you're not going to know. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be really, really careful how you treat somebody like that. So it's like,
on trial and error, just throwing darts in the dark then, huh?
If I had to guess though, I would say my brain is overactive. I would have to say overactive, yeah, because I think too much. And certain, like, my brain will just make connections and shit that's just completely, like, you don't need to make those connections, you know what I mean? Thinking too far into it, 10 miles down the road when you should just be worried about what's in your periphery, you know what I mean? But, I mean, obviously you don't deal with anything like that, huh?
Well, I guess it just depends on what our definitions are going to be of overactive brain, because I feel like...
No, I mean OCD, like anything like
that. Not to my knowledge, no, but...
I would say your brain's probably overactive. That's why you don't sleep.
Oh, yeah. Like I was tossing and turning all night, having dreams about sleeping, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I feel like you definitely think too much. It's like a blessing and a curse because you're completely aware of everything. You're pretty sentient, you know what I mean? And lucid. But at the same time, that kind of gets in the way because now you can't fall asleep. Insomnia. It's like I'd rather be an idiot and just fall asleep and have no worries in the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I often envy the guy who could just glue the pipe and not worry about how neat it is and just like set it and forget it and just like, you know what I mean? No stress.
Yeah, that's life though, man. You don't get to pick your triumphs and your not triumphs.
But you don't get to pick your brain either.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
I feel like you more or less can pick your triumphs.
Yeah, triumphs was the wrong word I was going for. Abilities. Yeah, maybe,
Yeah,
like,
did Superman ask for X-ray vision? I don't think so.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring something up. Oh, okay. Well, you want to talk about work?
Oh, yeah.
Before we get into that?
Yeah, I just feel like on the other one, I was just waking up. So, I mean, but yeah, for those of you who don't know, I've been applying. I did get something, but I don't know. I think I was just a lot more nervous than I thought I was to actually get it out the way. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. So like I said, okay, so circle back real quick, just break it down. Car broke down as soon as I got a job. I was like, whatever, I'll deal with it. But then I built it up on my head. Like, I'm ready to start. They gave me a start day. I went in to start. And that's when I called you yesterday saying that, I had time to do the podcast, whatever, because I got there and then they were trying to sign me up or like get all my forms out of the way, do all that, fill out the paperwork. And, there's a step that they go through to verify your identity and all that. But their systems were down. So they weren't able to verify me that day. So they had to send me home. So I still didn't get to start, you know what I mean? And kind of bad news, not really, because she said that they might not be able to fix the system for like up to 3 weeks. Like their last employee that happened to, she didn't even show up for her second day of training because they couldn't, it just took too long. I mean, in my case, I got to be patient, and I have time right now to do that. So I'm not letting it put a damper on the mood, and everything. I'm still looking forward to it. But it was just like I was ready to get it out the way. It's like, one of those things where you're anticipating something and then they delay it. You know, like that happened for my stepdad. Like his dad or my second dad, he went in for a triple bypass and they kept delaying his surgery. It's like he was terrified, you know, like they're gonna cut your chest open, dude. Like okay, like you got to build that up in your head mentally of like preparing yourself for that day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tuesday, man, they're gonna do it. Tuesday, all right, cool. Let's do it on Tuesday, and then Tuesday comes and they're like, okay, well we're gonna do it next Wednesday. It's like shit, dude. I was ready. Like I'm ready to go now. You know what I mean? And I felt like it was a little bit like that, just because I was ready to go and get it started and get it out the way, and just
get your feet wet.
Yeah, get my feet wet and start it up again and start doing it. Because for me, it's a new experience, especially being in something like retail. You know, being secluded for such a long time, and now having to go around and be a people person. You know, it's just interesting, but I didn't realize that I was as nervous as I thought I was to actually get started. And for other people looking from the outside in, they're just like, dude, we work every day. Like it's just you're late to the party. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like there's plenty of people out there who are going through the same shit and just trying to get started, and get on their feet.
Well, it's it's the start of a new adventure, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where this is going to lead. You don't know what you're going to encounter. And then of course there's just like, am I still going to have the same work ethic as before? Did I lose it? It's been a while. Am I going to be as sharp? And
You wonder.
There's a lot of factors that go into that. So I'd say it's very understandable the situation you find yourself in within your head. You know what I'm saying? And then again, if you have an overactive brain, just analyzing everything, and it's could be a
detriment.
No, just anxious.
But that's good though. I think you gotta be a little anxious in any type of situation. That way you stay on your toes. Because if you just go to work, especially in your job, if you just go to work laid back and you don't got your head on the swivel, then that could bite you in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially. You kind of want to have a little bit of fear. You want to lead with a little bit and use it though. Don't let fear control you. Because for sure, yeah, even though I'm scared of a lot of things, to do whatever, like taking that medicine, for example, I was really terrified to do it, but I was like, I'm not going to let it control me. I'm going to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to let it kick me while I'm down. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get up and do what I have to do to make sure what needs to be done gets done, regardless of how I'm feeling. You know what I mean? But I think you got to have a little bit of that inside of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to be careless,
Or too paranoid.
Yeah, well, yeah. What is it?
The other alternative would be either gonna be careless or gonna be super paranoid about everything.
Yeah, what do they call it? Paralysis through analysis.
That's a good one. Yeah.
You heard of that one before?
No, but it just right there on surface level makes sense.
Yeah, it's just like you're
stuck and you're just
and over analyzing, so it prevents you from doing anything. Versus if you just don't overthink it, you get it done. I've had that too before. It was just paralysis through analysis type of thing. Just like, damn, bro, I'm overthinking it. Just do it. Just jump. Just get off the deep end. And I've kind of immersed myself into that type of thinking, just because I feel like that's what works for me. And I always mention it to this, like when I'm explaining stuff. It's just like I mentioned the switch. I just flip the switch. Whatever that switch is for me. It's just because I don't like to think about it. I'd rather just do it and call it impulsive, whatever you want. But I think if you apply that to the correct situation, it can work in your favor. Like just do it. Like going to the gym. Like just flip the switch. Don't think about it. Just get up if you're tired, do what you gotta do and then get your ass over there. And then before you know it, you're sweating, versus I probably would have been at home thinking about it for an hour.
Yeah, now it's done all the way.
Yeah, it's done. That's done. But just like the switch. Do you have the switch?
I think we all have the switch. It's just how stiff the switch is to
Yeah.
flip up or down. But yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
On the new milestone. Hopefully it's a fruitful one for you.
I would like to call it a milestone, I guess. It's just, like I said, there's a part of me who's insecure about it. It's just because people do this every day.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't. So the fact that you are now is going to become a everyday thing for you.
Yeah.
Is, step in the right direction. And I mean, it's a new adventure, man. It's a like a plottable, like if you had a graph of progress forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
If
I think all too often when people try to be, I feel like don't take this as disrespect. or being insulting, but I feel like sometimes people trying to be too humble can be a problem, because now you're underselling an accomplishment. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this, I have that problem. I don't give myself enough credit.
It's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, hey, just give credit where credit's due. Because you could not be.
No initiative.
And you could be in the same situation that you were in yesterday and nothing's going to change. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you went out and applied and got the job, interviewed the whole nine, I mean, to me, that's worth celebrating. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's worth giving yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, I think it's something just worth chalking up. I'm not going to celebrate anything yet because I definitely still got to put the time in, remain consistent and keep doing that over and over. But I mean, I'll tell you this, like when I was in there, just sitting in the office again, getting ready to do the paperwork and everything, I remember just thinking, I was like, of course you have these thoughts in the back of your head, just like, damn, I don't belong here. Just like, I feel like I don't fit in. I feel like I'm not built for this world. Like, I belong in construction. I belong with a shovel in my hand. You know what I mean?
That could be the case.
But these are the insecurities that you tell yourself, and these are the things that you tell yourself to maybe talk yourself out of it. Versus diving
I'd say
in.
It's probably likely the thing.
I say versus diving head in, face first into that fear. And that's how I like to. I've always preached this. I like to face everything head on, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this situation. Because I'm like, I'll be honest, though, like I don't. Like I'm a people person but with the people I know, for the most part.
But this will help you figure that out or help you develop that asset, which I think is good. I would say for a law enforcement standpoint, having a background in retail actually does you great service.
Customer service, because you learn how to communicate.
You learn how to communicate. You know what I'm saying? And you learn. I mean, I guess you said you've never done retail before, and I've done my.
I have done it.
And so you learn how to put on that fucking face when someone's sitting there giving you a shit time, and you got to sit there with a smile, and like, and because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, working at Lowe's, if you do if you don't put on that face, you do the alternative, and you actually lash out, now your livelihood is on the line because, of course, you're not just representing Mark, the music producer, 32 years old, 31 years old. You're representing Mark, excuse me.
Whatever. I don't care.
Mark, the employee of this company, and it's beyond you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you're forced to put that on because it's like, hey, you're not just representing yourself in this situation, but you're representing us and every other person that works here and this company as a whole. So it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because then you learn how to deal with BS. I'm not saying it's fun,
but it's something that people do every day, and you got to deal with it.
You got to, if you're gonna want that paycheck with your name on it, that's a situation you're gonna have to learn to deal with. But it's good though, you know what I'm saying? Because it's funny, man. You could when you start paying attention, you learn this kind of stuff doing my line of work. And I'm not saying it's just exclusive to those in law enforcement. I mean, anybody can do this. But when you start looking at a person, they say a lot without opening their mouth. Body posture, head movements, where their eyes are fixed. I mean, you just learn like, yeah, this person's telling me a lot of other things other than what's coming out of their mouth. You know what I'm saying? So you could read people a little bit better, and I think and that skill gets honed in customer service, because but best of luck to you in your future endeavors. So it's it's
definitely
clear skies and smooth sailing for you, bud.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it's kind of all up to me, it's really all gonna depend on my attitude, and most of the time anything is just attitude. Like, how do you approach the situation? It just depends on your attitude. Need another napkin?
No. And I was telling someone close to me recently, just you never know what door this might open for you in your future.
I was gonna say stepping stones.
And not even trying to view it in that light. It's just like when I started working at the jail, dude, I think I mentioned this in the podcast, I never had ambitions to be working in a jail as a correctional officer. Never.
Really?
Never in my cards.
Maybe it crossed your mind.
No, it was just an opportunity that presented itself. I knew someone that worked there, and they told me, hey, we're hiring, apply. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of working my part-time minimum wage job. It was in retail. And I said, screw it. What's the worst that could happen? If I don't like it, I can always bounce. And so I went, and I ended up enjoying it. And then I got complacent. I was just like, well, I could do the same job at other departments for a lot more money. But hey, I got seniority now. I can get pretty much any days off I want on a particular shift. I can go to any shift that I want.
That's not necessarily a bad thing though, because it's flexibility.
True, but at the end of the day, I'm not there for pleasure. I'm there for a paycheck. So if I can be doing the same job, making more money elsewhere, that'd probably be the best move. And it led me to the job that I'm at now. I'm not saying that my experience there, because I could have came with no zero experience. We have people that come in that are 22, 21 years old, fresh off the, fresh in the market for jobs. They get the job. But I felt that as a competitive standard, coming with that experience to do the job that I had, it was like, hey, he knows a lot more than the average person coming in off the street that has never done anything remotely close to this line of work.
Mm-hmm.
We want him. And it led me to the opportunity that I'm in now. And then where I go from here, again, I'm looking at a couple different options. Again, if it wasn't for this job that I had now, those options wouldn't be available to me. And I credit that to just taking the step forward and seeing what doors the last place offered. So you never know what doors are going to be open as a consequence of starting a new chapter. You know what I'm saying? So this might land you might become manager material, more money. You might meet somebody that's going to pull you from there into a different field, but because of how you sold yourself during initial contact. I mean, you only get one first impression, you know what I'm saying? So with any person that you meet, so you're always trying to make it a good one. And who knows, man? I mean, the sky's the limit, but you just never know what opportunities might present themselves in the future because of a decision you made today or yesterday, which was, going in for the interview and getting the job.
Yeah, and you also got to keep your eyes open though for those opportunities too.
We've
talked honestly, about this before, where it's like sometimes it's just over your head.
And I think that's putting it gently. Sometimes it's right there in your face.
Yeah.
And we're too involved in trivial things that you just look right past it, and then you're sitting there, where's my opportunity? Where are my chances? Like, dude, you had 8 of them that just walked right by you. You didn't pay. You never stuck your hand out and grabbed the money that just went past you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just being observant, but just you never know, man. I mean, like that saying, sky's the limit. It's true. You never know what possibilities can come from this new adventure you're about to set forth on. So
yeah,
best of luck to you, man. I said I hope it's clear skies and smooth, and
I'm sure it will be, dude. Because I got a way different head on my shoulders now than I have in the past years. It's just way different. You evolve, which is good. I'm glad that I'm evolving because I definitely have a problem if I was thinking the same way as I was when I was 18 or even 27 or 25. I'm just glad that I keep evolving my thinking. And I'm still like surprised that, not surprised, because I feel like this type of thing wouldn't start dwindling until I was like in my 60s or something like that. But like ambition and just curiosity overall.
I think that can diminish a lot sooner if you would allow it to.
Yeah.
Because if you could just get caught up in the everyday norm, I wake up, I clock in, do my job, I come home, I make dinner, go to the gym, and you just fall into that rut, it's very easy for that kind of stuff to lose, you lose grasp on that kind of stuff, I think there is a conscious effort that one needs to put into maintain that curiosity and that just learning, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the day you stop learning is the day you die as a person.
Well, no, your brain literally starts shrinking.
That's
what I'm learning from this book.
There you go. So there's a medical correlation to that. Then, you know what I'm saying? So, for me, it's just like, dude, like I'll be watching videos on stars and things of that nature.
Spank you.
And I'm never gonna use any of that kind of stuff. But it's
fun to know. It's that's especially it's a fact.
But it's like I make it a point to do that. You know what I'm saying? I got off my podcast kick for about a month now.
You got off it? Like you stopped?
I just music, doing that kind of thing, and it's just like I don't like it.
Oh, I'd rather
be listening to podcasts and learning random stuff.
See, I'm the same way that way. Like I get bored pretty quick with things. That's why like music, I don't have the passion for it anymore just because it doesn't, like it's just sound. Like I understand like it's like a lot of people who don't make it, music is their everyday thing. They'll listen to it from when they wake up to when they go to sleep. And I just never understood that because I spent so much time making it to where it was a job and it became a chore, so I got sick of it. And it wasn't any longer it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. Like how like something like a podcast would. Like that's actual knowledge that you can go out there and relay to somebody else and have at your disposal to implement into a conversation like we're having now, and and use it as like a weapon almost. And music is just like, hey, listen to this cool beat I made. It's like, okay, cool. Like it was a great beat and everything, and maybe a cool song will come out of that, but then it stops right there unless you're, making money from it. That's pretty much it. But there's no like you don't get like I don't get that feeling from it anymore. Like so yeah, music is just like you try to. Like I'll try to every now and then dive into some music, make a beat if I'm feeling it. But for the most part it's just like there's no spark there anymore. I get the spark from like reading and stuff and from listening to other people and their findings and all that and talking to you and stuff.
Yeah, there's I think there's some paradigm shifts that happen in people's lives, and what was once super a part of their life every day, becomes dull, and less, lacks luster, and but the reason I said that's just because like I felt like I was stagnant.
Yeah, see that's the
You
thing.
know what I'm saying?
You
like I
can feel
was
yourself
like I
becoming
was like
stagnant.
like I don't like just like my brain's not growing. I'm not learning more than I could. Like so I started listening to JP again, and then listening to the few podcasts that I do listen to frequently again. And so I feel like there is a conscious effort, and you do lose it if you do not continue to exercise that area of your brain.
Now, this may be arguable in the eyes of actual physicians or neuroscientists or just in the general to the layperson. Do you think that in maybe some way playing a challenging video game can be a form of like training your brain to like learn? Because when you learn new things, your brain gets stronger. Your gray matter grows. Your hippocampus grows.
I feel like my opinion on this would have a bias because I've been gaming for such a long time.
Well, try and.
Well, I'm trying to give you an unbiased, but it's hard because I do like to game. There's no secret about that. I don't see how it could be detrimental. You know what I'm saying? I don't see how it could be a bad thing.
I mean, but think about it though. Like it depends on the game. Like if it's a strategy game, like strategy is thinking. It's a very specific type of thing. It's not like going through the motions. Like you have to formulate a strategy in order to get this done.
Yeah, I would probably say that.
So how is that not like? It has to be helping, right? Because a lot like even the dude in the book that I'm reading, he kind of he doesn't advocate playing video games because he feel like it can be a detriment. But I just feel like it depends on the type that you're playing.
I don't, maybe not necessarily the type, just the amount of
like Tetris.
time.
Tetris is a game,
I think it might be more of the amount of time that you spend dedicating to that is the detrimental side of it. If all your free time goes to that.
Is there any more?
I'm good.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah, good. I feel like if there's any more, if you all your free time goes to that, then that's detrimental.
Well, yeah, I mean you got to balance it though. But I'm just saying
I think that's probably the negative side that most people would associate with that kind of stuff.
Because when you think gaming, it has a stereotype, right? And there's a stigma on gaming. Mm-hmm. Like there still is. Like even though kids are making millions off it, there's still a bit of a stigma on it. But I would argue that in the right proportion, that there are some benefits to it depending on the game that you play. And I just say that because I love gaming and I would like to like at least throw in some learning while I'm doing it.
I don't know. I don't see it being beneficial.
Like I wanna make Call of Duty a good thing to do just because I love it so much, or even Apex, whatever you do.
I don't see it being particularly helpful. I don't see it being a detriment within reason. You know what I'm saying? So, because if you think, I mean, how often can you sit down and just play one match?
Pretty often.
okay, how often? Okay, well, some people have the inability to just sit down. But okay, I'm gonna play a match and that's it. It's like, oh, that one ended kind of quick.
You're saying just get on and get off.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty hard.
And
like
so,
just like I would just have one beer. For a lot of people that's hard.
And I feel like that's even easier sometimes. Honestly, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just to have one beer and not touch another. But I feel like if you were, like if okay, like we'll just use this as an example. You have a significant other, and rather than spending 2 hours with them, you spend 2 hours with the boys or by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Playing video games. It's 2 hours, not a terrible amount of time, but that's 2 hours you could have gave, to better relationship, to understand what your partner's going through, and have a connection. And then maybe 40 minutes you can spend on your game. Some people get that reversed. They spend a few hours playing and they don't. I'm just saying that as an example. I'm not saying it's a case by case scenario, but I wouldn't really say there's a whole lot of benefits. I've heard there's better hand-eye coordination, yada yada yada, for things of that nature. But overall, I don't really see being more of a benefit. I see just me being within reason. It's not bad.
Yeah, because in the book it gives you games that you can play to like develop your learning and continue to learning so your brain grows, because if you don't use it, you lose it. So it gives you games like Sudoku or something like that, or math games, or even playing a category or word games like that, words with friends even.
No, and to me that makes sense. Yeah. But to say that, Call of Duty, Apex Legends, and I play a lot of Call of Duty. I don't play it much, but I've played a lot of Call of Duty.
You used to?
Yeah, I don't play Call of Duty much anymore.
You don't like it?
I got redundant and same thing.
Anyway, you used to.
And but I play a lot of PUBG. I play a lot of World of Tanks. I feel like World of Tanks has a lot more strategy involved in it. You can't. There's been more times than I can count in Call of Duty where myself or someone I'm playing with can single-handedly change a match.
Yeah.
And World of Tanks, that is like complete opposite.
Yeah.
You could have a good game and you get wrecked as a team, So
see, that's the part I love about it. It's just like when you do get a good match, and you're frying out and you're controlling the lobby and you're doing everything right. That's when it gets addicting. That's when it gets like fun. And those are the times where that's the reason why you can't just sit down, play one match and then get off, because you're like, oh, what if the next one? You know what I mean? Like it's like gambling almost. It's like, well, it might be the jackpot. This might be the one where I get a victory.
Mind you, I say all this coming from a person that games avidly. So, what I'm saying? I'm trying to give an unbiased, opinion on this thing. And
I didn't realize that I was such a gamer until I hopped on that game. Like, oh yeah, granted, I grew up playing video games. Like, okay, I'm talking like Sega Genesis, Nintendo, you name it, every console. I was fortunate enough, my parents, they worked hard and I was able to have those in my household, or, a cousin would have it or something like that. I think the only ones, like the latest one I had was PS2, and then I didn't have anything else up until the PS4 I got last year.
But you had Xbox.
Yeah, but I'm talking, those are like the original Xbox. I never had like a 360 or anything like that. I just had the original Xbox, the real Xbox One, like the big, the original one that came out. So I had that. And my dad actually got that one free. Somebody installed a bunch of like arcade games on it. So I had all kinds of shit on there. It was fun, which I still have. But I didn't realize that I was such a competitive gamer until I started actually raging when somebody would kill me. Yeah. Because I thought that I should have won the fight or something like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm kind of contradicting my point here, but I don't know. I love it. You know what I mean? I didn't realize I had that in me.
Yeah, like I said, within reason, I don't think it's a bad thing. I just have trouble saying how it could be a positive thing unless you're playing games that are, really require your brain to be, thinking hard. Because I would say most of the stuff that I've learned through my first-person shooters it's more muscle memory type thing. You know what I'm saying? So, there's not a lot of, there's not, like, in, like, if you're playing search and destroy and you're, 1-on-6, then yeah, a little bit of strategy goes into that, but it's mostly
muscle memory.
Muscle memory, quick reactions and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of, thinking. Like one thing I like about World of Tanks is you're playing in a tank and you go to a certain area where that tank is advantageous, and that area is completely filled with other people. Well, you may or may not have a good impact there. But you see the other side where it's fallen down. You got to think, okay, where am I at? Where are these good places to be where I can hold them off, where I can make a good advance? You know what I'm saying? So I'd say there's a little bit more in that regard, but I'm probably making it a stretch.
Yeah. You know what I've been doing lately that I learned to type in high school. You ever take the typing class in high school? Do you still remember how to do it?
I type pretty well. I've taken a couple of those things. I don't type too slow. I don't think I'm not a wizard.
So I've been reteaching myself how to do that. Luckily, I knew where all the keys were already, so it wasn't that like big of a learning curve. But like remembering it and like a muscle memory again, it's interesting because when I first sat down to do my first like little online class, there's like free apps that you could do online. I was like dog shit at it. I was like, damn, like I'm really messing up here. A lot of errors. And then I want to say like 30 minutes into it, you just find yourself in a flow state. I'm just like, no errors at all. Like I would go through a whole column, no errors. Like it'll if you type like the wrong letter that it gives you, because it shows a bunch of letters on the screen, you got to type it. And then if you type the wrong one, it'll pop up in red. Then you have to hit the right key to advance to the next one. Next thing you know, I'm going through the whole column with 0 errors. I was like, dude, like I remember just sitting there feeling the click in my brain just go off. And I was like, wow, that's so interesting. And I'm like multitasking, just thinking of other things while I'm typing. I was like, this is fun. Like, but like I'm doing shit like that to make sure that I'm still learning, It's crazy though, because now it's like maybe one day in the future I could get myself a job where I can just sit down, 'cause now I remember how to type again. That's something, you know what I mean?
You can be like a courtroom stenographer.
I wouldn't want to do that, but I wanted to kind of talk about, and I had this idea the other day because I noticed I can't shut up during movies. Like me and my fiance would be watching a movie, and I have an opinion on everything. Like throughout, no matter what movie it is, I was just like, man, it's stupid. But like he should have done this, and like, come on, bro, like really, like you're gonna jump that high? Like, come on, you're 6 years old. Like I have all kinds of comments. You know what I mean? Like to say throughout the whole movie.
I'd say I'm pretty close to that too.
Really? Okay, so what I wanted to do was set up like the camera, and I would call it like. It sucks because you remember Mac Miller? He had an album called "Watching Movies with the Sound Off." So I kind of wanted to, and he was my favorite artist. I kind of wanted to do something like that. Yeah, R.I.P. I kind of wanted to name it something like that because
off topic, one of my guys I knew on on Destiny, that was his name.
Oh, Mac Miller?
No, R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P.
But he spelled it like AREYE.
Oh wow. P-E.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like that, but it was like, oh shit, R.I.P. is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
But yeah, I wanted to name it that because unfortunately, like copyright issues, like you can't just watch a movie on and throw it on YouTube and be like, here, watch the movie with me because then you'll get your so I'd have to watch the movies not with the sound off, but for you guys it would be the viewers, the sound would have to be off. What I wanted to do was like just get a thing of popcorn and then just like whatever my drink and then throw on the movie, like say it's a new movie and just like kind of like watch the movie and get my in real time response to it and then just do the funny. Not doing, but like say my funny comments that I'm doing like in real time and shit, and just see what like you guys think about it. You know what I mean? Because I think it's because it's like kind of funny sometimes, like the way they make movies now. You know what I mean? And just throw and like almost like a movie review. Because I love movies, bro. Like I've probably watched way too many movies, and that's the reason why.
I'm not that big into movies.
Nah.
Like I'll watch them, but it's not like. I have to watch this. Like I have a buddy of mine that knows like the director and who composed the music.
Okay, maybe I'm not that big of a movie guy.
But
I enjoy a good movie though.
And I mean, I'm not saying I don't. It's just if my girl wants to watch a movie, I'll watch a movie.
Okay, so put it this way:
I'm not gonna be like, oh, this coming into theaters. I have to go check it out.
Are you opinionated on it though now? Like, okay, because I'm sure you have your era of movies that you prefer watching. Like, bro, like I can't stand the new shit they're making. Like, I can't stand it.
I haven't really watched a whole lot of new movies, so
there's probably a reason why though. Is because it's all dog shit.
I just
not a big movie guy. Okay, that sucks.
So like, there's classics that I'll watch, that I think are funny and stuff like that. But
cause my favorite movie is Forrest Gump. That's where I'm coming from.
No, I don't think they make movies like that anymore.
That's what I'm saying though. That's like I wish. Like, when's the last time they had a cold classic like that? It's been a long time.
I could agree with you on that, but no, I'm not much of a movie dude.
Like and I have like, do you have any opinion on it at all though? Like maybe why they're so shitty now?
Couldn't tell you, brother.
Okay, well let me give you my opinion on why I think it is. Like, dude, like I don't know what it was, but like somewhere like when digital came in, like on the camera that we're using right now. Because they used to shoot on film, actual film, and then they would cut it, and it just has a different grainy look to it. Like it almost looks like it's it's its own world. And now when they film movies, it feels like they didn't edit it or something like that. It feels like you're right there with them, which is not necessarily a good thing. It's like too clear. Like you can see all the makeup that they did and the imperfections that they made, and it's just like too clear. It looks unedited. And I feel like a lot of that, obviously, one, the director, but like two, because they're using way too advanced shit now. It's like I can't wait till a director comes out, like Spielberg or something like that, and just goes back to the old shit that they used to use, like the old filters, the old style of filming, like not digital.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I will piggyback off of that and say that I feel that film directors and movie makers these days heavily rely on CGI, and I do like actual props. Like we'll use like from like we'll use Star Wars as as an example.
Also one of my favorites.
Episodes 1 through 3, everything was CGI.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple things that were and I understand there's certain things you can't make look good with a prop, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, dude, if you just had actual...
It should be a tool, though. Use it when you need to use it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they did really well with that in Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
The one that takes place right before episode 4, in between episode 3 and 4. I thought that was an incredible movie. I thought it was a great... Because, like, the environment they went, I don't know where they shot the film, if they made the set, but it literally went to some, like, tropical area. And they actually, the trees were real. The dirt was real. It wasn't CGI because they didn't want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
see, it adds like a different texture.
And so I wouldn't say that there was the cameras that did it. I just think it was them actually using environment and not just relying on someone to create the scene that they needed. They actually went out and made the set, and it wasn't a green screen that they were dancing in front of the entire time. There was actual,
a set.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to me, that's a big determining factor in a good movie.
Well, I think if they tie that with actually going back to film, even though the editing process is a lot more of a hassle, it's still way better quality. You know what I mean? But then also they have the money to do it now because it's like so cheap to do it now. Everything's so much more expensive and digital, and then because of CGI and stuff like that. Like, how much did it cost to make Avatar?
Yeah, so I mean, CGI. Now that's probably a little bit harder to shoot, because where the hell are you going to find a jungle, that,
9-foot Nubby.
Yeah, but I still think that was a good movie too. But I feel, like I said, there's too much reliance on CGI, and that's where
I agree.
My discontent comes from, is not necessarily the camera quality and the graininess. I actually like the clarity. It's just, go get a tree.
I don't like the clarity.
Don't put a CGI tree. Go get a fucking tree.
Like, bro, I'm saying? Like, I prefer watching a VHS to a DVD. Like, I really do. Like, I would prefer like if I had a VHS player, I would hook it up to the big screen and pop in a VHS versus I'm good off Blu-ray. Like, I don't want to watch Blu-ray. I'm good. It's too clear for me. I don't want to feel like I'm on the set watching you guys and then I have to go home and wait for the edited product, I want it to look like a movie.
I've never drawn that connection.
Dude, I noticed that right away.
The ones I had a name for it. I know it was a big thing back in like 2010, 2009, even 2011, 12, where it felt weird because like the camera movement and the way they did it, and I know a lot of people complain about it, and that's why they stopped producing, but it was like, it's hard to explain, but I forgot what the type of shooting was called, and they stopped doing it because a lot of people complained because it felt like there was too much camera movement, and it didn't feel like a movie. It felt
like somebody took the video on their phone.
And not even say that's a good example. Yeah, kind of. It just felt like
stabilization.
It looked like they were trying to make it too immerse you too much, and it was like hard for the eyes to follow.
Because some directors will purposely utilize the non-tripod.
That I can live with. Like if they're like in a battle scene and they're running, you know what I'm saying?
They'll
like
purposely in a scene, like if you're sitting there in Pulp Fiction, whatever, they'll purposely move the camera a little bit to make it look like There's a little bit of human movement there, and it's not so robotic and just set. Like they play with the camera, but then some people overdo it, like you're saying.
Yeah, I'll try to research that and bring it back on the next one. What it's called? There's a certain name for it if I remember correctly, and it didn't last very long because a lot of people complained about it. And that was the one thing I didn't, but they've gotten away from it. All that to say, though, I do like some of the CGI effects, like that they did with the new Star Wars. Even though I thought the storyline was garbage.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are complaining about.
Well, especially since George Lucas had the last trilogy written, but that's a discussion for another day.
He had it written?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He gave it to Disney, and there was because he was upset with the last 3 movies because when he sold to Disney, I'm assuming he sold with the assumption that they were going to utilize his last 3 movies, like, you know, I don't think he had a script written, but the storyline that and they led him to believe that was going to be the case. And then, of course, when they took over the rights, they went a completely different direction and basically chopped off what he was going to do, and he was upset about it. But there was nothing he could do because they owned all the rights. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think he was on set for Mandalorian, and Jon Favreau, I think is his name, did a really good job with Mandalorian. But getting off topic, but they have some really good use of CGI, like where I think it's what's his name, Kylo Ren stops like a blaster, and you can just see the laser pulse just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he walks past it. Like that part looked cool because you can like hear it like crackling and stuff, and it looked like if a laser were a real thing and they were to stop it in midair, that's what it probably looked like. But
see, that's what good directors argue that point. CGI should be a tool and use it when necessary. You don't want to have the whole film rely on CGI, like autotune nowadays on music.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Like a good song, if you need it for an artist, you apply a little bit of autotune to correct a certain note, but that's it. You don't apply it to the beginning to the end on every single person and like harmonies and all that. It's just like oversaturated.
Yeah.
And now it sounds robotic, and it's just now it puts it into another category, which some people aren't a fan of. You know, and I feel like that's where movies are at right now. Like, dude, I can't stand movies right now. Like, anytime we sit down to watch a movie, I'm already going into it with the mentality like, this is going to be dog shit. And every now and then I'll get surprised. Like, the last one I was really surprised by was called 10 Cloverfield Lane, but it was no surprise that John Goodman was in it. You know, it's like a lot of these films that you see, a lot of these good actors, high caliber actors in, you kind of know what you're going to get. You know what I wasn't impressed with? Gemini Man.
Never seen it.
With Will Smith. Okay,
that's where he comes back young, right?
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be way different. It was kind of dog shit, to be honest. I was like, I'm kind of disappointed Will Smith. Because there's not too many movies you can name that have Will Smith in them that are a dog shit movie. You know what I mean? It's like pretty rare. Like he used to drop a movie every December, like for a good while, and then we would go see it in theaters. And it's like you knew you were gonna get. It was like it's a banger, Pursuit of Happiness. You know what I mean? Like every single time. And nowadays it's just like I don't trust any of these fucking directors anymore.
Yeah.
So, I know it's not a movie podcast, but I love movies. So.
How much time we got left?
I want to keep it at like at least hour 15 because I had a hell of a time. We're at an hour.
So I don't know if I meant. I feel like I have. So if I have, I apologize in advance. But I came across this a story randomly on Facebook. Then I went and looked it up on YouTube. But there's this dude who has like a fucking 7-second memory.
Oh wow, like Dory.
But real life.
Yeah.
I guess he was this.
You told me about this.
Did I?
Yeah,
on the podcast?
I don't remember though.
On the podcast?
I don't think so.
Actually a very, very sad story, man. So this guy was this.
Yeah, we talked about it off air.
Okay. This real prominent musician or conductor for like an orchestra and in Britain, and he was making some good strides, and he was a known person. And then he got some sickness, some type of virus into his brain where basically by the time they caught it, it ate the memory portion of his brain.
Sounds like Lyme disease or something.
I don't know what it was. And if they did, I don't recall if they mentioned what it was. But basically, he's able to, like, it's like they call it the 7-second memory, but it's like anywhere from 7 to 30 seconds is the time span that he has.
Not good, though.
Yeah. And it was actually a very sad story, man, because, like, when it first started happening, like, he has like a lot of journals, and he'll be like, what time is it now? 12:10, August 31st, 12:10. Today's the day I'm awake. And then August 10th or August 31st, 12:11. Now I'm awake. And because he was like trying to track, his daily, but he knew something was wrong, but doesn't know that something's wrong. It's a very difficult concept to understand. But like, dude, it was a very sad story because like he would sit there and be like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, you're the first person I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
How's it going? Good."
That's like a very severe form of dementia.
Oh, dude, yeah. But he's the shitty part is he's aware that it's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some.
I think people with dementia, they're aware as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like at certain points, they know what's going on.
Yeah, and can you imagine being in a continuous loop of 7 seconds where like...
Okay, now I remember, yeah. I think I asked you that too. I was like, dude, wouldn't you just want someone to pull that plug for you? I wouldn't want to live in that continuous loop.
But I don't know if you can legally.
But there's got to be like an agreement. But how would you even anticipate this type of thing happening? So it's like you can't sit down and have the one-on-one.
What do you go with doctor? Hey, this guy's perfectly healthy. But I feel bad for him.
Well, we should look at it from like a moral standpoint. Like, okay, put yourself in that situation.
Who has the authority to say that?
I know, but that's where it gets tricky. But it's like,
and then is he even self-aware if he agrees? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the interesting thing though. The only person he remembers is his wife.
Like every time
doesn't recall memories, but knows that's his wife.
Oh, okay.
And like calls,
that's weird, huh?
She came, she because I know they were married, then she never legally divorced, but like, or maybe she did and separated because it was like, you got to imagine the stress that puts on the loved one, you know what I'm saying? Like constantly caring for an adult like they're a child, you're trying to have intimate conversations, you can't because he forgets 7 to 30 seconds later what you just spoke about.
It's 50 First Dates, that movie.
Basically, yeah, but real life, and not a comedy. You know what I'm saying? And so she left and came back, and then they still go out on dates and stuff, but like he's not aware. He'll be like, yeah, hey, who lives here? Oh, you do. Oh, I live here in this house. And I know when he said like when the beginning, like she spent like 2 hours with him, 3 or a day with him, and she left, and he was calling her crying like, can you come get me? I don't know where I'm at. But can you come get me? But just knows that doesn't remember his kids.
I'm sorry, bro, but like, if you were in that situation with somebody, I'd probably.
You're gonna go shoot me?
No, I would know that that's what you wanted to because who would want to live like that? You know what I mean? I'm sorry, bro. It's like it's gotta happen.
But
it's no way to live.
So it was a very sad thing. But one thing that was pretty cool, I kept this was I think he told his wife that he loved her, or she told him that she loved him. And she goes, you know what love is? And he goes, yeah, it's zero in tennis and everything in life.
Oh yeah, you told me that too.
And I thought that was a real like profound thing to say, even from a person that has a 7 to 30 second memory.
But I think it's because his life is so simplistic. It's like he just blurs out all the bullshit.
Well, yeah, but I'm just like, when you think about it though, like I sat there and thought about it, I was like zero in tennis, because that's true.
I don't know what that means.
It's when it's love, it's zero, the score.
Oh, zero in tennis.
Yeah, zero in tennis. So okay. It's like, to love, 2-0. You know what I'm saying? So zero in tennis and everything in life. Yeah, love. Know? And I was like, that's a really cool thing to say. What's crazy though is this guy can play the piano like a mother. But doesn't remember what he played.
Isn't that weird that you can still recall like every day, like you remember how to pick up a cup and drink it. You know how you remember that it's supposed to go in your mouth and you're supposed to drink it, but you don't remember the context which surrounds it or anything prior to that memory. It's like you remember everything else and how to do certain things in life, but you can't remember or recall anything. Isn't that weird how we just like hold on to certain things like that? Muscle memories? Mm-hmm. Like how we knew that it was his wife, but he could still play piano. Like how did you not? It's got to be because those memories are stored in a different part of the brain.
I would imagine, but there's like no, I don't know. Yeah, I would agree that there was probably stored in a different area, and why it was unaffected. I mean, who knows, man? I mean, the brain's a wondrous
an enigma
thing, but I thought it was just a kind of a sad, tragic story. Just how this guy had his whole life and then just fell apart, and he just just in a continuous everyday,
there's
7 second loop for 24 hours.
It's almost
which is weird because they even have like a checklist on his mirror, like brush your teeth, shave, and he's able to accomplish all this stuff But
which is how though? Like, how can he remember that he did step 1?
I don't think he remembers he did step 1. I think it's just maybe he does it over and over again. I couldn't tell you, but
the OCD guy.
But it's weird, man. Like how the brain, he lost that ability, but there's certain things he's able to grasp and still lived. And
like I said, I think it has to be stored in a different part of the brain.
And I think they said that there was some type of consciousness still there because in the beginning he was always angry. And so probably getting frustrated that like it's kind of like constantly waking up, right, and then as time wore on that he's calmed down a lot, and so it's like, hey, maybe there's an indication like he's accepted it, you know what I'm saying? But how it's kind of like there's still a little bit of consciousness where you're still kind of aware of what's going on, you know what I'm saying, to the point where it pisses you off for the first 10 years and then the next 5-10 years that come after that, well, this is my life, it is what it is, but I can't change it because even if I wanted to be taken out back and put me out of my misery, so to speak, I can't even convey that to you. Yeah. And of course, who the hell would, go through with doing something like that? But
do you ever feel like life is kind of like that sometimes? Like, what if everything that we're experiencing now is just a big trip? Like it's just a single moment in a bigger timeline, but we're just still going through the motions of this, and then one day we might wake up in a hospital bed or something like that, and this was just all a really weird dream. I often have those fears.
I think it's in the movie Repo Man.
Oh, really? I've never seen it.
It's where they go like they make body parts for humans, and then if you don't pay on it, they come and remove the body part from you. And long story short, this guy's doing that, and then he gets hurt somehow, and they give him a part that he can't pay for, and it's all him trying to, now he's being sought after because he has a heart or a liver or some shit that he can't live without. And then the whole movie is him trying to get back at the people that are, he was working for or whatever. And then he goes to this one scene where the person that he trained him is chasing him now, and they have like the standoff, and then he beats the guy and he sets sail, and happy ever after. But they had this one thing where they could put you into like a paralysis and they give you false images.
Like the Matrix.
Basically. But so what ended up happening was when he did finally face off with the guy that was chasing him, the guy killed him, and they just kept his brain alive and made him think that he won. And so everything that he was dreaming was everything that happened after that fact, which that happened really quickly in the beginning of the movie. So it led you to believe that he was fighting the man. He finally got it all squared away. It turns out that they caught him really quickly and they killed him and took what they needed. And someone that knew him paid for that fake brainwave thing. And so, because it shows him like on a beach, like sipping on a pina colada, and like it glitches a little bit, and then it goes back to normal. And then it zooms out that he actually got captured, killed, and then everything we watched in the movie was his brain just living what you just basically just what you said.
Yeah, because there's people that argue like if you ever experience deja vu, like that's just like a glitch in the system or something like that. Or like we collide, or like some super particles collided somewhere and we got bumped from this part of the timeline. It's just like a little bit, you know what I mean? It moved us in dimensions a little bit, but it wasn't enough to where it would change everything completely. Just one little thing changed, but we didn't notice it, except the deja vu, Or even in the Matrix, they say that too. Like when the cat, remember the scene where the cat, he's all, hey, I just saw the cat twice. And then Trinity, she was like, what? She's like, are you sure you saw a cat twice? She's like, oh, they glitched the system. They knew what it was. So somebody was trying to hack it. It wasn't deja vu, because in real life that would be deja vu. But in the Matrix, it was because somebody was hacking the system. So there's a book though that I didn't finish it, but I finished listening to the guy who was on a podcast. The book's called The Answer to the Riddle Is Me. It was by, I say John Stuart McLean. I want to say that. And if not, I'll correct it here. But it was a really good book. So basically, he goes to Africa and he's studying in college. Long story short, he has to get vaccinated for malaria. So they give him an anti-malaria drug called Lariam. And there was this thing that happens with that particular drug that in very, very rare cases, I'm talking like 0.1%, every now and then, it'll get past the blood-brain barrier. So you know what that is? Okay, so if it gets past that, then it becomes severely toxic. And our brain has a thing called blood-brain barrier that keeps a lot of these chemicals out, and it protects us from that, from medicines and stuff like that, from pollen, whatever, Well, Well, he was one of those. He was the 0.1% where the Larium breached that blood-brain barrier, and what basically happened was it gave him almost permanent amnesia. So the way he describes it in the book is he just woke up one day on a train station in India. He didn't know how he got there. He didn't have any concept of anything. So like, you remember how he said he remembered he still remembered how to play piano. He still knew that it was his wife. He still can complete tasks. Well, this guy basically just imagine taking all your context from the external world out. So he didn't know what the sounds that I was making was English. He just knew that it was a sound. He didn't know what words were. He didn't know what, this cup was for. It would just look like a foreign object that had some color to it, but he didn't know what it was. So he basically just describes it as waking up as like an infant, and he's just walking through India, like trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And then they end up finding him, like a police officer finding him wandering aimlessly. He's just like tripping out, looking at some TVs in a window, like of a store. And he's just sitting there, and the cops, they think he's on drugs and everything. So they take him to a mental insane asylum, and then somebody comes in, they convince him that he was a drug addict. That's why he was acting like this. Now he has false memories in his mind that he was a drug addict and that he disappointed his family. So they're trying to call his parents and everything. And then they get a hold of his parents by some divine miracle. And he's breaking down crying to his parents because he thinks that he did them wrong because he was a drug addict. It was like crazy, bro. Like, it was an insane book. And I need to finish it because there's more in there, like that he mentions and everything. Like, he still deals with these symptoms today. Like, he's just never been the same ever since that. All because of anti-malaria drug called Larium. But he does a whole podcast on it, and it's crazy, like the story.
Oh, so he actually lived.
No, yeah, he's alive.
Like, this is an actual thing.
No, yeah.
I thought it was like a
No. It's a autobiography.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, on himself. That's why I'm saying it was so interesting because this actually happened to him. And I remember I got his book, so I think I got like halfway through. But this was a while back. It's a really good book, but it reminds me of that because the dude had no memory of anything, But this dude had no context, which is, I feel like, way different.
Yeah.
So he lost all his memories and some. Like, he lost, like, I remember somebody was describing what it was like when they got diagnosed with Lyme disease, and it was attacking a part of his brain that had to do with context, right? So he just describes it as he was sitting at a red light one day, waiting for it to turn green, and then all of a sudden, like, a wave hit him of amnesia, and he didn't know when it switched from red to green, what that meant. He didn't know what the shifter in his car to shift gears was. He was just sitting there lost, like, what the hell is going on? So he like forgot everything. It's crazy. So, anyway, good shit. You all right?
Mm-hmm.
You look dead tired.
My ass is hurting.
Oh, okay. All right, bro. We gotta get those pads, man.
Something.
So now that I gotta go buy. There's these chairs I want to buy at this place, and they're leather. So hopefully I can get those pretty soon. So they're like 150 a piece though. So
yeah, we'll see.
They're worth it. Anyways, bro, that was a good episode. I wanted to talk about movies a little bit. So
for sure.
Next time, you never know. But next episode is episode 50 though, so maybe we might do something special. I don't know. Probably not. So we always say that. I always have high hope. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good week.
Deuces.
My name is Marcus.
And
that's a wrap. See you on the next one.